Hi, everybody. This is a fabulous place. I really feel like I should put on my skates or start dribbling around. You know, it's really wonderful. And thank you all for being here. And I'm going to tell you something. I'm really grateful that we're inside. I mean, it's really going to be hot today, and I'm supposed to be outside this afternoon doing a video in 103 degree with a suit on. So this is a pleasure having a suit on inside. So thank you so very much. I want to thank everyone here at the Pastor Simmons. I know he couldn't be here today, but you know, the Simmons Community Center has been unbelievably wonderful throughout the years. And I remember when the horrible thing to remember, but it did happen, the pandemic. And COVID and vaccinations and Pastor Simmons, Les Simmons was really wonderful. We did our very first vaccinations here back there. And it was really wonderful because it really built a lot of trust in the community, which we really very, very much needed. And it was really great for all of us and great to see everybody putting their arms out and all of that. And so I thank everybody at the Simmons Community Center for really being a strong part of the community and embracing everyone who comes here and understanding that what we do here in this community should spread out all over. You know, events like this are really my favorite times because it is talking about the great work that the community is doing here and the great people who are actually doing it. So I see a lot of you out there, and thank you very much for being here to celebrate also. You know, I've been really happy to support, and very proud to support the work of the three organizations that we have here today. Sierra Health Foundation, United Way, and Green Tech are all hardworking pillars of the Sacramento community. My dear friend Chet Hewitt, Dante Early, Simeon Gant, people know them because they're real people who do great things with a great heart. And those are the people that thrive in settings like this, because they know how important it is to reach all the people. These are forward-looking people who have ideas and visions about how to lift up a community. I want to thank you for being wonderful partners. You're always great. Every time I call, got an idea here. They do that too. So we work together collaboratively. So when Chet came to me with this wonderful idea, I knew it had to happen and we can make it happen. You see, go back a little bit. Chet and I have worked together for a long time, particularly in healthcare as we, Congress is trying to put together the Affordable Care Act. And I knew how important it was to really reach out to people in Sacramento, those people who are affected the most. And so Chet and I worked together to gather the folks, the providers, the doctors, the hospital folks, patients, everybody to see what we needed to do. And that is the way Chet operates, and it's really a pleasure to operate with him that way because he has such great standing and respect in the community. But we also know that you just can't look at, you know, symptoms symptoms at hand to really look at what problems we might have, because that will never fix the underlying cause of things. So that means looking at all factors of our economic and health outcomes also. It means making investments, as we know, directly into the community, meeting people where they are, and ensuring that they have the access, the resources for their own success. Now, it means reaching out to people to make sure, young people in particular, to make sure they are engaged in the solutions. What do they need to become a success? What do they need in order to provide for not only their future, but our future too? And that's the ethos that programs like Green Ambitions are born from. Now, as we looked around for partners, United Way, the California Capital Region, under the visionary leadership of Dr. Early, And Simeon Gant and his team at Green Tech were the perfect partners to make sure we maximize the impact for young Sacramentans. We all know that the climate crisis is the defining challenge of the 21st century. Its reach is global, but its impact is local for everyone. And it's no secret. We all know the transportation sector is the greatest emitter of carbon. And really, that's where a lot of the pollution comes from in the United States. And that means a clean energy and clean vehicle future is no longer an ambitious goal, but it is an absolute necessity. At the macro level, that we know that all means spearheading federal efforts to encourage EV adoption, of which I'm really, really very much involved in. Building up our charging infrastructure and ensuring that EVs are affordable for American families. And I gotta say, through legislation like the Inflation Reduction Act and the bipartisan infrastructure law, we are making more progress than ever. But I want to always make sure that these big laws at the federal level come down to the people who need it the most. The ones that we're writing the laws for, it needs to be felt in every community. So we must ensure that this transition just never leaves anyone behind. And as we make progress, we really want to make sure we kind of right the wrongs of the past by cleaning up legacy pollution, by preventing new pollution, and by creating family-sustaining 21st century jobs in previously overlooked and under-resourced communities. Here in South Sac, we know that the effects of climate change and air pollution are not experienced the same way as they might be a few miles up the road as in other communities. And that's why we're bringing this infrastructure and training right here to the Simmons Community Center, right where you are. I love Sacramento. Sacramento is a place that works together towards our common goals. We support each other, invest in our future, because we know that the success of our youth in particular doesn't just support community growth, but it sustains us for generations. Through the money, $500,000 in federal funding, we will be able to train the young youth here in this community and give them an opportunity to lead us, our young, towards a greener and more sustainable future. Now, I'm going to let my colleagues here go into more detail about the program itself, but first, I want to present to them a big check. Dante, come up. She is unbelievable, as we all know.
Thank you. All right. Well, this is kind of cool. So this is the King's Court from Arco Arena, right? Yes, and it's kind of amazing just to be on this court and to be here with you guys. And so, first of all, good morning. My name is Dr. Dante Early. I am president and CEO of United Way California Capital Region. And I want to make sure that I give a huge thank you to Congresswoman Doris Matsui for these community funds. Yes. For securing these funds, for your support. It has been invaluable. We would not be able to do this project without your support and your commitment, not only to this project, but to our community. So thank you very much. I'm excited to announce United Way's collaboration with all of our partners, Sierra Health, My Brother's Keeper, Green Tech, on our Green Ambitions project. This project is funded through not only our community project funding that we heard about, but also a grant from the NBA Foundation. And it's designed to address environmental challenges while also creating opportunities for communities most affected by poverty and inequity. At United Way, our mission is clear. Our mission is to end poverty by mobilizing our communities into action so that all can thrive. Our Green Ambitions project is no different than the work that we do in other regards. It represents a bold step forward in ensuring that the future we build is both equitable and sustainable. We understand that the journey to net zero isn't just about reducing emissions. It's about empowering communities to drive change, providing them with the tools and opportunities to thrive in this green economy. Participants in this program will receive training in fields like construction, transportation, and urban agriculture, paired with support services like financial literacy, leadership development, and mentoring. We are also taking tangible steps by building an electric vehicle charging station right here in South Sacramento, part of our commitment to sustainable infrastructure. Through this partnership, United Way will help connect our corporate partners with talented individuals from communities that have often been overlooked, offering them mentorships, internships in green job sectors. These are not just jobs of the future. These are opportunities for today that will empower the next generation in leading and transforming California's economy. We heard a little bit from Congresswoman Matsui about why this is important. It's important because climate change does not impact all communities equal. I'll say that again. This work is important because climate change does not impact all of our communities equally. In California, we know that poor air quality, rising temperatures, and environmental hazards disproportionately impact communities that have had fewer resources to address these challenges. The Green Ambitions Project is about ensuring that these communities that are rich in innovation, rich in resilience, are able to be part of the solution. We can make California a model for addressing both, not only environmental challenges, but economic challenges as well, by building vibrant communities that can thrive in green economies. As we embark on this partnership, I'm filled with hope, I'm filled with optimism that we can accomplish all of this together. I would now like to introduce Chet Hewitt, the president and CEO of the Sierra Health Foundation, the center, to share more about this program and Sierra Health's role. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'll say a little bit, take a minute just to ground us in many respects and do a couple of shout outs. One, I do want to shout out Pastor Deborah Simmons, who's here representing the Simmons Community Center, and the Simmons family and their extraordinary contributions to this community over many, many years. Also want to recognize my colleague, Kai-Ying Hang, who is the president of the Center at Sierra Health Foundation, and the vice president for programs and partnerships, who has been holding down the fort during my sabbatical. So I'm still on sabbatical, but came here today because I am so excited about this project. The other thing I want to point out is that you are sitting in an infrastructure development in an under-resourced community. If you'd have came into this facility 4 years ago, there was carpeting on the walls and a tore-up floor, and it did not look like the beautiful place you're sitting in now. When you invest in communities, particularly those that are under-resourced, you can do things that really do transform the lives of the people who live there. This is what my partnership with Congresswoman Matsui over the years has been built upon. We started in healthcare and ACA and trying to get some federally qualified health clinics situated here in Sacramento County. But over our many, many conversations, we also talked about the link between economic opportunity and health. The wealthier you are, the more affluent your neighborhood, the longer and healthier lives you lead. And so we know that the disparity around health often aggregates in under-resourced or less influential communities. And the one thing I can say, and I know that this will be repetitive, Congresswoman, but another thank you to you Because not only does she know that, the science of public health, but she has worked hard to do something about it. And that's what makes a great politician. That's what makes a great leader. Not just the recognition of the problem, it's the ability to do something about the problem. And that's what the Net Zero Mobility Hub program and Green Ambitions in combination is really all about. Communities that look like South Sac disproportionately experience high rates of asthma, largely caused by particulate matter in the air. And one way of addressing that is by bringing clean, carbon-free vehicles into those communities. The Congresswoman mentioned the bipartisan infrastructure law and the Inflation Reduction Act and the CHIPS Act, billions of dollars made available with the intent under the Justice 40 provisions to ensure that 40% of that spending is actually spent in under-resourced communities. I often say that implementation is the place that great policy goes to die. Right? Because if you write the legislation with all that wonderful opportunity built into it, and you don't create projects like this one that actually brings home those opportunities, the technology, the jobs, and the careers, because it's not just about charging stations, this is about exposing young people to solar and offshore and all the technologies that will pay living wage jobs in the future. This is what health is really all about. Yes, health is about access to medical care when you are ill. But if you want to promote wellness, if you want people to live healthy lives, you don't only focus on the back end when they're sick. You do all the things that help them retain their health over time. That's what this project is about. Our partners at Simmons Center, Green Tech, United Way, MBK have all come together. But the seed funding for this was secured by Congressman Matsui's office to make sure that the grand vision that we had and all the ideas that we talked about weren't going to die on the vine, but would be fully implemented. And my expectation is over the next year to 18 months, you will see not only car charging stations, but carbon-free vehicles on this property made available to people who live in this community. That is the outcome that we want to have happen. And so let me introduce a really important partner in this work who's actually built a net zero mobility hub in Del Paso, Mr. Simeon Gant.
So good morning, everyone. As he mentioned, my name is Simeon Gant, and in 2008, I had an ambition to go green. And with that, I realized that our young people in our community didn't really know what that meant. But first, let me just thank United Way, let me thank Sierra Health, and absolutely let me thank Congresswoman Doris Matsui for giving us an opportunity to continue to go green and really make sure that we introduce our young people to what it means to go green. And certainly it means improving our health outcomes. But it also means developing careers, changing the trajectory of what we've been seeing in the past where our young people didn't see a pathway. You know, I often tell the Green Tech students, if you don't mind, I'd like for some of my Green Tech students to stand. I want them to be seen. Green Tech. Thank you. They work hard. And we talk to them about career opportunities in clean energy, energy efficiency, and sustainable living careers. And when I talk about sustainable living careers, I talk about the basics. We have a garden in Oak Park, and we teach them how to grow their own food. We also teach them pre-apprentice construction, to teach them how the beginning process of putting a shelter over your head. We talk about sustainable living strategies. If, in fact, you're not going to go to college, and we always encourage them to go to higher education, and it's not for everyone. We talk to them about getting a career. Green Technical Education and Employment is a local, community-based career technical education program with an emphasis on how to improve our environment and improve our health. This Green Ambitions program talks about going net zero, how to reduce carbon emissions. And what does that really mean? We want to improve. We know now that we are living in the hottest days of Earth ever, and that is unhealthy. And so we talk to our students about how vocabulary has changed. We talk about the anaerobic digester, about the carbon footprint, things that they've never heard before. But that's the direction we're moving, and we want to give our young people an opportunity to understand that. So when we started, we focused heavily on solar, and our students worked on projects where we would have them build a solar lighting project and send it to Haiti and send it to portions of Africa where they needed the light. And we've moved on to more agriculture. And now we have this opportunity to teach them about zero emissions vehicles and how to become technicians on electric vehicle charging stations. So as was mentioned here earlier, we had one of the first projects in the whole state creating a parking lot with 7 electric vehicle charging stations. 4 stations with two actual nozzles, right? One of them only has one nozzle, the fast charger. And the students at first were like, okay, this is the future. And then we taught them how to actually use them. We taught them how to collect the data. We teach them what it really means to go green. And so now we have this opportunity to continue and grow because we recognize if this state is going to only manufacture electric vehicles in the year 2035 or the year 2045, then where are they going to charge their vehicles at? Well, because of this program, they're going to be able to charge their vehicles here. They're going to be able to charge their vehicles in Del Paso Heights, and we're going to do more and more of these in this city. So finally, I just want to say thank you again, Dr. Dante Early. Chet and I talked about this probably more than a year ago. And, you know, patience is virtuous. And we finally made it happen. And we're looking forward to installing the charging stations and developing a deeper partnership with the Simmons Center. Thank you, Mrs. Simmons. And thank you all for coming out.
All right, just some housekeeping notes. So while this actually does conclude our press conference today, we do have availability for one-on-one interviews with not only all of our speakers, also alums from both My Brother's Keeper as well as Green Tech, and so that is available. We also will be going outside, so please don't leave yet. We'll be going outside in front of our building with our speakers and our program alums to take pictures with electric vehicles, as well as Congresswoman Matsui and that big check. I love big checks. And then remember to enroll in our Green Ambitions program. It's available right now. You can visit uwccr.org/Green Ambitions app. That is uwccr.org/Green Ambitions app. Applications are available until September 19th. And again, on behalf of all of our partners, I want to say thank you for coming.